Imagine two people. Both earn $40,000 a month. They have almost the same age, the same city, and similar jobs. One of them looks successful. He has a new phone. He eats at expensive restaurants. He recently bought a car. His Instagram looks perfect. The other person, he uses an old phone. He doesn't show much online. He saves a part of his income every month, and sometimes, he says no to things he can actually afford. If you looked at them for 5 minutes, you might think the first person is richer, but here's the strange part. You don't actually know who is wealthy, because money has a secret that most of us learn very late. What you see is often not wealth. And this is exactly where Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money becomes interesting. The book isn't really about becoming rich overnight. It's about something much deeper. Why do we behave the way we do with money? Why does one person save while another spends everything? Why does someone panic when the market falls? Why do we compare ourselves with people who seem richer? And why can someone earn a lot of money and still feel financially insecure? Today, let's look at 10 powerful lessons from this book that can completely change the way you think about money. Lesson 1. Money is more about behavior than intelligence. Think about two people. One has studied finance for years. He knows about stocks, mutual funds, interest rates, and financial markets. But whenever something goes wrong, he panics. The market falls. He gets scared. He sells. The market rises again. He gets excited. He buys. He knows a lot about money. But he can't control his emotions. Now imagine another person. She doesn't know every financial term. She doesn't follow the market every day. But she saves regularly, avoids unnecessary debt, and stays patient with her long-term plan. Who has the better chance of building financial stability? The answer isn't necessarily the more intelligent person. Because money isn't only a mathematics problem. It's a behavior problem. Your financial decisions are influenced by your childhood, your family, your experiences, your fears, and even the people around you. Someone who grew up watching financial problems may think differently about money than someone who grew up in a wealthy family. That's why two intelligent people can make completely different financial decisions. The lesson is simple. Knowing what to do is not the same as being able to do it consistently. And when it comes to money, consistency can matter enormously. Memorable line. Your financial life is not controlled only by what you know. It's also controlled by how you behave when things go wrong. And speaking of things going wrong, that brings us to one of the most misunderstood parts of success. Lesson 2. Luck and risk matter. We love simple stories. Someone became successful. He worked hard. Someone failed. He made bad decisions. Sometimes that's true. But real life is rarely that simple. Imagine two small business owners. Both work hard. Both have similar skills. Both start similar businesses. One gets lucky. His shop is located on a road that suddenly becomes busy. Customers increase. His business grows. The other person faces unexpected road construction. Customers disappear. His business struggles. Did the first person work harder? Maybe. Did the second person work less? Maybe not. This is where luck and risk enter the picture. Success can contain an element of luck. Failure can contain an element of risk. That doesn't mean hard work doesn't matter. It does. It means we should be careful when judging people's results. When we see a successful person, we shouldn't assume that every part of their success came from skill. And when we see someone who failed, we shouldn't assume that every part of their failure came from stupidity. This idea is important because it creates humility. If you become successful, remember that some things were outside your control. And if you fail, remember that one bad outcome doesn't automatically mean you're incapable. Memorable line. Results are important, but results alone don't tell the whole story. And there's another reason we often misunderstand money. We spend too much time looking at other people's results. Lesson 3. Stop comparing yourself with others. Open Instagram. You see someone buying a new car. Another person is traveling. Someone has a beautiful house. Someone is wearing expensive clothes. And suddenly, your own life feels smaller. But ask yourself one question. What part of their financial life can you actually see? You see the car, but do you see the EMI? You see the holiday, but do you see the credit card bill? You see the lifestyle, but do you see the savings? Probably not. This is one of the biggest traps of modern life. We compare our complete life with someone else's highlight reel. And that comparison can push us into spending money just to look successful. Imagine a person earning $40,000 a month. He buys a phone worth $70,000 because his friends have one. Then he upgrades his bike, then his clothes, then his lifestyle. Nothing is necessarily wrong with buying nice things. The problem begins when your spending is controlled by someone else's lifestyle, because the person you're trying to impress may not even be thinking about you, and the most dangerous part. You can spend years trying to look rich without actually becoming wealthy. Memorable line. Don't destroy your financial future trying to impress people who may not even remember what you bought. And now we come to one of the most powerful forces in finance. A force that doesn't care how rich you are today, it cares about how much time you have. Lesson 4: The power of compounding. Imagine planting a tree. For the first few years, nothing dramatic happens. You water it, you protect it, you wait. Then one day, the tree becomes big enough to give shade. Money can behave in a similar way through compounding. The interesting part isn't just earning a return. It's earning returns on previous returns over a long period. That's why time can be incredibly powerful. Imagine someone starts saving and investing a modest amount early in life. They don't need to become a millionaire immediately. They simply need to give their money time to grow. Now imagine someone else waits many years and then tries to catch up by taking much bigger risks. The second person may have to work much harder. This is why starting early can be more important than trying to find the perfect investment. But there's an important warning. Compounding works in both directions. Debt and interest can also compound against you. So the same financial principle that can help build wealth can also make financial mistakes more expensive over time. Memorable line. Compounding doesn't look powerful in the beginning. Its power becomes visible only after patience has done its work. But even if you understand compounding, there's another question. Where does the money to compound actually come from? That brings us to saving. Lesson 5: Saving gives you freedom. Most people think saving is about buying something in the future. A new phone, a car, a house, a vacation. But saving can give you something much more valuable: options. Imagine two people suddenly lose their jobs. Person A has no savings. His next question is, where can I borrow money? Person B has built a financial buffer. Her question is, what should I do next? That's a huge difference. Savings don't make life perfect, but they can give you breathing room when life becomes unpredictable. And here's something many people misunderstand. You don't need to be rich to start developing the habit of saving. If your income is small, even building the habit with a small amount can teach you something important. Not every rupee you receive has to be spent. Your future self is also someone worth taking care of. Memorable line. Savings don't just buy things. They buy you time, flexibility, and choices. But there is a problem that can destroy even a growing income. You keep increasing your definition of enough. Lesson 6: Know when enough is enough. Imagine you earn $30,000. You think, once I earn $50,000, I'll be happy. Then you reach $50,000. Now you want 1 lakh. You reach 1 lakh. Now you want 2 lakh. There is nothing wrong with wanting to improve your life. The problem is when the finish line keeps moving forever. Because if you never decide what enough means, you can take bigger and bigger risks chasing more. You might already have a comfortable life, but someone else's bigger house makes your house feel small. Someone else's expensive car makes your car feel cheap. Someone else's success makes your own progress feel like failure. And suddenly, you aren't making financial decisions based on your needs. You're making them based on comparison. Knowing your own definition of enough doesn't mean giving up ambition. It means understanding what you're actually trying to achieve. Maybe your goal isn't a 2-crore car. Maybe it's a debt-free life, a safe home, time with family, the freedom to leave a bad job, or simply sleeping peacefully at night. Memorable line. If you don't define what is enough, money can turn into a race you never finish. And now comes one of the most important distinctions in the entire book. The difference between being rich and being wealthy. Lesson 7: Wealth is what you don't see. Let's return to those two people from the beginning. One drives an expensive car. The other drives an ordinary bike. Who is richer? You can't know. Because the car is visible. The savings aren't. The house is visible. The investments aren't. The clothes are visible. The financial security isn't. That's the strange nature of wealth. Real wealth is often invisible. When you spend 5 lakh on something, people can see what you bought. But they can't see the 5 lakh you chose not to spend. And that's why saving can feel boring. Nobody gives you applause for not buying something. Nobody sees your emergency fund. Nobody sees your disciplined financial decisions. But those invisible decisions can shape your future. So don't confuse a high income with wealth. Income is money coming in. Wealth is what remains available for your future after your spending decisions. Memorable line: looking rich is visible, building wealth is often invisible. And once you understand that, another problem becomes easier to see: our emotions. Lesson 8. Control your emotions. Money can make people emotional. When markets rise, people become confident. When markets fall, people become afraid. When everyone is making money, you don't want to be left behind. When everyone is selling, you start wondering if you should sell too. This is human psychology. The problem is that emotional decisions can turn temporary situations into permanent mistakes. Imagine you have a long-term financial plan, then something unexpected happens. The market falls. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. Your mind starts creating worst-case scenarios. And suddenly, your plan changes because of fear. This doesn't mean you should ignore risk. It means you should understand your own emotional limits before you make financial decisions. A strategy that looks perfect on paper but makes you panic every time something goes wrong may not be the right strategy for you. Personal finance is personal. Memorable line: the biggest financial battle is sometimes not against the. Lesson 9. Leave room for mistakes. Most people create financial plans as if everything will go perfectly. Salary will increase, expenses will stay stable. No emergency will happen, investments will behave exactly as expected. Life doesn't work like that. You can lose a job, a family emergency can happen, a business can fail. An unexpected expense can arrive. The future is uncertain. That's why a strong financial plan needs breathing room. Think of it like traveling on a road. If you drive at the absolute limit every second, one small mistake can cause a serious problem. But if you leave some space, you have room to react. The same idea can apply to personal finance. Don't build a financial life that works only under perfect conditions. Build one that can survive imperfect conditions. This is where emergency savings, manageable expenses, and avoiding excessive debt can become important parts of financial resilience. Memorable line: a strong financial plan isn't one that predicts the future perfectly. It's one that can survive when the future surprises you. And now we reach the final lesson, the lesson that connects everything together. Lesson 1. Oh, money gives you control over your time. Think about the most expensive thing in your life. It might not be your house. It might not be your car. It might not be your phone. It might be your time. Because once yesterday is gone, you can't buy it back. This is why money can be powerful, not because it allows you to buy everything, but because financial security can sometimes give you more control over your time and choices. Imagine two people. Both earn money, but one has no savings and huge monthly commitments. The other has controlled expenses and a financial cushion. If both face a terrible job situation, their choices may be very different. One may feel trapped. The other may have more room to think, wait, and choose. That is a deeper meaning of financial freedom. It's not necessarily about never working again. It's about having more control over when, how, and why you work. And maybe that's the real goal. Not to impress everyone, not to own everything, but to have enough financial stability that your decisions aren't always made from fear. Memorable line: the greatest thing money can buy may not be a better lifestyle. It may be more control over your own time. So, what does the psychology of money really teach us? Maybe it's not about becoming rich. Maybe it's about becoming wiser with what you already have. You don't need to know everything about finance. You don't need to predict the market. You don't need to become the richest person in the room. You need to understand yourself, know your limits, save, be patient. Don't compare your life with someone else's, respect risk, give compounding time. And most importantly, know what enough means for you. Because at the end of the day, money is only a tool. And the value of that tool isn't measured by how expensive your lifestyle looks. It's measured by how much freedom and control it can give you over your life. So here's the question I want you to think about. If you suddenly had enough money to feel financially secure, what would you do differently with your time? Maybe that's the question worth answering. If this video gave you a new way to think about money, consider subscribing. And tell me in the comments, which of these 10 lessons changed the way you think about money the most. I'll see you in the next video.